I don't like using the word masterpiece, but that's the only way I know how to describe the movie Sinners, because not only is it easily the best film we have gotten all year, it may be one of the best films of the entire decade, so let's talk about it. But as always, before we get started, if you're new here, my name is Erin and I talk all things movies and TV, but really mostly movies, so if you're into that sort of thing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. It would be greatly appreciated. And if you like my videos, hit the like button while you're at it as well. And also, if you've seen the movie, of course, leave your thoughts down below in the comments. I would love to see what you think about this movie. But now, with all of that out of the way, of course, let's talk about what could be Ryan Coogler's best movie, Sinners. So this was directed by Ryan Coogler, and I don't think this man has made a movie that I don't like. He is one of my favorite directors working today, and as someone who wants to make movies one day later down the line, he is at the top of the list, right next to Christopher Nolan, of course, of people that I would love to work with. So Ryan Coogler, if you are watching this, which let's be honest, you probably aren't, I look forward to working with you one day, my friend. But anyways, in this movie, we follow a set of twins played by Michael B. Jordan who start a juke joint in their Mississippi hometown. However, things take a supernatural turn when vampires show up on their opening night. Jumping right into the good, and the first thing I have here is that the performances were great across the board. I'll start with Michael B. Jordan. He had to play two characters in this, and that is not an easy thing to do. He was able to make both of the twins feel like completely different characters, which made for a really cool dynamic between the two. And this is not only my favorite performance from him, but I also think this is his best performance, with Fruitvale Station being a close second. He portrayed these two characters as people that not only had a loving and tender side for the people in their community, but also had a side where they could be menacing and intimidating if they needed to be too. Moving on to Hailee Stienfeld, and man, if we're just going off pure performance in this movie, she was probably the best, and her and Michael B. Jordan just had insane chemistry in this. We also had Delroy Lindo, who was the comedic relief in this, and he was absolutely hilarious every time he was on screen. And honestly, this entire movie did a pretty good job in the humor department. But I think the person who stole the show was easily Miles Caton. Without spoiling it, he has a musical performance that, I kid you not, is one of the best sequences I have ever seen in a movie ever. And I know this movie puts a lot of focus on Michael B. Jordan and the twins he is playing, but one could make the argument that Miles Caton's character Sammy is the secret main character of this movie, and I honestly wouldn't argue against it. His story just plays a big role in the overall theme of this movie, and he does a great job. Other notable performances were Omar Miller, Wunmi Mosaku, and Jack O'Connell as the villain. Really, anyone with more than a paragraph of dialogue in this movie did a good job. The next thing I have for the good, and this is hands down the best part of this movie, and that is the music. Now, the music in this was composed by Ludwig Göransson, who has worked with Ryan Coogler in the past on the Black Panther and Creed movies. And let me tell you, I need Ryan Coogler and him to stay together forever, because it is absolute magic when they make movies together. There was a heavy blues influence, and there was just so much soul and culture not only infused into this movie, but into each and every song that we heard during this film. The best way I can describe it is that it's a blend of different types of music, starting in the Jim Crow era and going all the way up until present day. And they do this same kind of thing with the culture as well. And that scene with Miles Caton that I mentioned earlier puts this all together in the most beautiful way possible. The last thing I have for the good is, well, I could just say everything else, but then this video would be like 3 hours long. So I'll just say the world building. This film did a tremendous job at really immersing you in this Jim Crow era world. It takes its time building up this world and its characters, which is a very bold move, because in turn, that can make your movie feel kind of like a slow burn or a slow build. And there's a part of me that kind of agrees with that. But with that said, during that build, I still couldn't take my eyes off of the screen. You really get thrown into this community and get to know all the characters within it, so when things finally do pop off, you care about each of these characters and what happens to them. There were about 6 or 7 characters that this movie put most of the focus on, and I could tell you who each of them were and what their backstory was on the spot. And that is saying something because I can't do that with like 99% of the movies that have come out this year. It's usually only the main character and maybe like one other side character that I can do that with. So that is just a testament to this movie and how well they built all of these characters up and made them each feel important in their own way. On top of that, on a technical level, everything from the sound design to the cinematography to the costumes to the set design was just amazing. And I'm lucky enough to have a 70mm theater within walking distance of where I live. So I got to see this movie the way it was meant to be seen. And man, I have to say it was one of the best theater experiences I have ever had. Moving on to the so-so, and the only thing I have here is that I wish we got a little bit more from the vampires. Don't get me wrong, what we got was awesome and Jack O'Connell was great as the villain. There was just a little part of me that wanted a little bit more from the vampires. We had all the usual tropes that vampires have, like them having to be invited in and them not liking garlic and silver and whatnot. But I think since this movie spent such a big chunk of time really building this world and building the characters, once we finally got to that vampire action, it just felt kind of quick and just a teeny bit rushed in my opinion. And since that was a big selling point for this movie, I just wish we got a teeny bit more of that vampire action. But let me be clear, I am satisfied with what we got because what we got was awesome in its own right. And finally, getting into the bad, and let's be honest, this film doesn't really have any bad at all, and the only thing I have here doesn't even necessarily have to do with the movie. It was more what we saw in the trailers leading up to the film. And that thing is that there were a couple of things in the trailer that I wish they would have left out and waited to reveal until the movie came out. The big one for me was Hailee Stienfeld becoming a vampire, and I just feel like that reveal would have hit so much harder if we didn't already know she was going to become a vampire from the trailer. There's also a little part of me that feels like they could have kind of kept the vampires a secret as well, because with this movie's slow build, I was so interested in the characters that at times I forgot vampires were on the way. So that would have been an amazing surprise if they would have kept those vampires a secret from us until we saw the movie. But at the end of the day, I guess that's really just a me thing. This movie is still phenomenal. I just think it would have been cool to reveal some of those plot points in the movie instead of the trailer. But overall, this is one of the best films of the decade. It is amazing in just about every single category, and this is a film that I think we will be studying and breaking down in the near and distant future. It's by far my favorite film of the year, and it is a movie that reminds me why I love movies, and I can't wait to watch it again. Those are my thoughts on Sinners. Be sure to let me know what you thought of the movie down in the comments, and as always, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, get your Eazy Apparel at shopeasyapparel.com. God bless, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.